Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Video Get in the Mud here on YouTube. My name is Lacey Dean and this is Miss Mia Marie, and this is a place where we explore the messy progression of healing, growth, and what it means to be a human in process. That this is a space I desperately needed growing up, and I know I am not alone in just now, even in adulthood, navigating the twists and turns of my own discovery and introspection and like, yo, is this normal? Am I broken? What do I do about this? These are things and skills that we can glean and learn from people that have walked through these spaces, and wisdom that we learn through pain, and that we don't have to suffer alone, and it's not just you. So I want this to be a space that you feel is safe, and that you recognize that you can be a person in process where you are, you can question, you can fall apart, and that all of you is welcome here. So just to share a little bit about me and why you should even be listening to this podcast is, one, I freaking love people. I am a messy human being. I have grown up in complex trauma myself, been through narcissistic abuse more times than I can count, within the home, within my relationships, within my own choices that led me into so much pain because I was coming from a place of pain. I didn't know the skills of how to be a human being in a functioning way. I didn't see healthy communication. I didn't ever have somebody regulate with me and help me calm my emotions, or what my emotions even were, because I had to be codependent in order to function. I had to be a shapeshifter and form myself into whatever I needed to be to avoid abuse or to find whatever I perceived was love in the ways that I knew how. And these were survival mechanisms. These were things that were done so subconsciously but began eroding every part of me. Fast forward many years later to a lot of pain, especially in relationships. I ended up becoming a nanny. I didn't know what I wanted to do. It felt like I was just overwhelmed by the reality of I'm moving out at a young age and I have to make money, and worked in restaurants, but I started nannying and recognized just like the beauty of kids. I always loved Mr. Rogers. I thought he was the coolest man. He was so soft and just authentic and tender. I remember working with kids and going, you are so untainted by all of the pain that is about to come. And I began the process of accidentally reparenting myself. If you've ever heard of inner child work, it's the idea of integrating the pieces of us back into ourselves that have had to die throughout our own pain, our own process, the moments in life that we experience trauma, or we experience things that teach us that you're not allowed to have that, you're not allowed to feel that, you're not allowed to have needs. And I began to notice the structures and just watching how these different families engaged. And over the 13 years that I was a nanny, I recognized, wow, I would never treat kids the way that I was treated, and began recognizing through podcasts, wait a second, there's terms for my family. Like, it's not just me. I had ADHD that I didn't know about until I was 31 years old, and the amount of trauma and shame that came from just feeling like there was something wrong with me, and why couldn't I just get it together? I couldn't function as a normal person. I felt like there was something wrong with me in every way, and I continued choosing it. I continued choosing the relationships I knew were not good for me. I continued doing the coping mechanisms, even though I felt through addiction and through partying and through relationships and through all of it that like pieces of me were wasting away. I just didn't know how to not live that way. Ended up getting married quickly. That's a whole nother story for another day. That marriage began to fall apart because I started becoming my abuser in that relationship. I started noticing that I had so much defense around this relationship because he didn't take my pain away. He didn't make my shame go away. I had this narrative, if somebody just chose me from a place of codependence, if I could just be enough that they would stay, then all my pain would go away. That belief of a child that just needed a father and that needed somebody to stay, that wasn't the case. And little by little, I saw all of these things coming up in me, and I was so broken. I had carried so many lies for so many years and maladaptive strategies and systems that at the time were survival mechanisms, and they kept me alive. They kept me safe. I was not a way that I could live my life, and I was just accumulating trauma for myself and then blaming myself for it. I was a victim many times to many different things, many different men, many different situations, and a lot of those things were things that I chose. How did I forgive myself for things that felt unforgivable to myself? There was so much pain. I felt like if I began to look at it, that I would drown in it. It wasn't until that marriage began falling apart. My husband at the time asked for a separation. I had $7 in my pocket, a totaled car, the flu, was living on a blow-up mattress, had to leave my dog because I didn't know what was going on, if we were going to get back together. It was a whole mess. I felt so clearly God saying that he would use me and that he would bring hope from my pain to help people that are currently walking in the dark. And I was like, my guy, I'm in the dark. I am the dark. What do you mean? Me? Who am I? I have no idea what to say or how to do any of this. Like, I am lost. And little by little by little, those small micro decisions of courageous choice and learning and pursuing self-development and psychology and getting my hands on anything and everything I could, I began this process of growth. And it was bumpy, y'all. It still is. I am so far from perfect. I am constantly feeling like I'm taking 5 steps forward and 7 steps back. It is not linear, and it never will be. We are constantly unearthing parts of us that just need our loving and tender compassion and curiosity. And it took so long of shaming myself and punishing myself to learn that I cannot abuse myself into shape. I cannot abuse myself into health. So I am here to share not just what I've learned, but what I'm learning in process, that this is something that I, as somebody who is committed to this human condition, and I'm going to school to be a therapist and helping people as a coach navigate these things in their life. How can we do this together? How can we do this better? We do not have to suffer through these things. If we're willing to look at the root of why we're doing what we're doing, we can find solutions that do not destroy us, but it takes courage and it's hard work. It's not a YouTube channel in which you're going to get 5 easy steps to fix your life. If it was that easy, we all wouldn't be messy human beings. We will be imperfect, we will be learning and broken and feeling like we're half cooked for the rest of our life in some areas. In other areas, we'll do really, really well. But instead of blaming ourselves for that pain or that difficulty or those questions, we can navigate them together. Part of this podcast and this channel is that I would love you guys to engage in the comments. If there's something specifically that you need support in, that you are navigating, that you are having a hard time with, I want us to be able to have dialogue about it. I most likely will open up a email where you guys can submit questions and we can talk through these things together. But I know that there is a way that we can navigate grief and loss and learning with gentleness and with curiosity. We can really utilize so many things that we think are the end of us in a way that teach us lessons that we would never be able to learn otherwise. And I don't like it. I'm currently in a place in my life right now where I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like this space that I have to walk through. I don't like the feelings that are still here. I don't like the fact that I'm grieving. I don't like the fact that I feel like I have tried so hard for so long, but I'm learning how to be. I hope that this is a space, this is me again, real comfortable back there, that this is a space that you know that you are allowed to be, that you are not a project, you are not broken, and this is a place that you are not helpless, but this is a place that you will be witnessed where you are. If you are curious and want to know more, please feel free to leave questions and things in the comments. I want to be able to start engaging with you guys in that way. I'm so excited to be here and to provide this space and create this space for you all. So I'm sending you so much love today. If this sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell and all the things. I'm sharing this episode with those who might need it, and that we can navigate these messy places together. Sending you so much love.